In breaking news, Alabama gets massive news on the recruiting front as they get a huge flip. Four-star quarterback, former SMU commit Keelon Russell flips from SMU to Alabama. And today, we need to talk about why this could be huge for Alabama recruiting going forward. Before we can, as always, y'all know the drill. Got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments. Y for yes, N for no. Are you excited that Alabama gets this flip? And let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and comment down below. Those interactions may seem small. They truly are massive in helping content creators such as myself get picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And as you can see, very special guest today, Jake, with us. Jake, you and I have been talking about this for quite some time, and I actually put out a video last week highlighting that Alabama was pushing for this flip, but push no more. They have achieved the flip after Russell visited Alabama this weekend. We heard rave reviews. Talk to us about why this is such a big win.
Number one, amazing win. But when it comes down to it, Alabama needed a quarterback in this class. We needed to find our guy. And you're right. Alabama's been very high on Keelon Russell. The guy's a stud. Ty, you know a lot about this guy. I mean, obviously from Duncanville, Texas. This dude is amazing. I call him Michael Penix 2.0, right? From the athleticism standpoint, but also from the arm strength and his ability to put the ball into very tight spaces with accuracy that's just unheard of for the amount of he throws the ball, right? I think it's a great pick because also in the end, we needed to get a quarterback that helps our wide receivers figure out that we're recruiting, figure out, is this the place that I want to go to? Are these the guy? Is this the guy I want to catch the ball from? I feel really, really good about that. Ty, we kind of bounced on this a little bit last night, but there could also be a potential look now from a stud wide receiver. And I know you'll probably bring this guy up here in a minute, and I'll let you do that. But in the end of the day, I'm very excited about it. I think it was very important for us to finally nail down like who is our quarterback for this class. We're not taking multiple QBs, right? We're looking for one. We're looking for our guy. And Sheridan DeBoer have a very specific template that they follow for who they want and put into this system. I think we found our guy. And congratulations to Keelan Russ.
Absolutely. And talking about why this is so big, ladies and gentlemen, as Jake just said, he plays for Duncanville High School in the DFW Metroplex. Now, why that's important? It's a 6A high school in the state of Texas. The competition he faces week in, week out, it's really tough to do what he has done in that league. One of the things I talk about all the time, whenever you get prospects from certain high schools, from certain leagues, you got to be excited about it. The why, it's very simple. When you look at around like a modern day, an IMG, a Duncanville, not only are they playing their games against guys that will be playing college football, they're practicing with guys that will be playing college football. But let's take a look at what Russell has done on the football field. He went 15-0 his first year as a starter, led them to a state title. He went 14-1 his second year as a starter, led them to a state title. By the way, he threw for almost 1,000 yards more in year two than he did in year one, showing a progression, showing a growth that you just love to see. But what did that look like? Well, in 2023, he completed 72.1% of his passes for 3,483 yards, 38 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. If we look at the 24/7 sports composite, he ranks as the number 38 player in the nation, the number 6 quarterback, and the number 10 player in the state of Texas. And Jake, dare I say, he's not done flying up this board. He's going to compete at the Elite 11. If he has a great showing there, he could very well be in 5-star range. He's only just outside of it right now. Do you believe he ends up in 5-star territory?
100%. I think this guy ends up within our. It's hard for me to say top five because I believe maybe top three within the nation at the end of this year for this 2025 recruiting class as far as quarterback rankings. The guy's unbelievable. Like his decision making process, his maturity, but on top of that, I think he's taken. If you look at the way he went about it, with his recruiting with SMU, he was very mature in how he went about his recruiting. He's very thoughtful in his process. In the end, he tried really, really hard to be loyal. There's something to be said. He was very considerate about the relationships that were built at SMU. but we can see just from a standpoint of what his goals are, his growth, his projection. Obviously, Ty, you bring it up in the fact of his year one as a starter to year two, right? And his growth even in high school. But we continue, we'll see that with DeBoer, we'll see that under Sheridan. It's going to be phenomenal. And it's going to be fun to watch him come into a system, right, that is basically made for him. I mean, truly, in the end of the day, this is a system he will show off all his skill sets. It's funny because we look at On Three Elite, they give a comparison of Jaden Daniels. Not a bad comparison, everybody. I like it. I still will say Michael Penix 2.0 from a standpoint of how he spins that ball. Very impressive. And again, super happy for the young man. This process can be stressful, it can be hard. And when you've already committed to a school and other schools are after you, especially when you built relationships, it can be tough to make that decision. But again, going back to what I said with SMU, it's not no diss to SMU, no diss to their coaching staff. In the end of the day, those relationships are built. All he sees is looking at a future where he can continue to build his own legacy. And Alabama is known for building legacies. It's the school of legends, everybody.
Yeah, and one thing I'd like to piggyback off of is whenever you are a quarterback, whenever you are an offensive player, but specifically in this instance, a quarterback like Russell, you look at this staff. Nick Sheridan, former Division One quarterback, right? He is a guy that is credited with helping develop Michael Penix, as is Kalen DeBoer. So already between DeBoer and Nick Sheridan, you got to love that tandem. Then you look at Coach Shepard. Coach Shepard, yes, he's the wide receivers coach. I'm going to beat anybody to the comments who's about to say, but Ty, Coach Shepard is the wide receivers coach. Fair. No doubt about it. Fair. He was also the passing game coordinator over at Washington, one of the most dangerous passing attacks in the nation. He is going to formulate attacks that will put quarterbacks in positions to be successful just as much as he's going to put his wide receivers in positions to be successful. Furthermore, I go down the line. We talk about a Brian Ellis, someone who at Western Kentucky set records with Bailey Zappi. He was a passing game coordinator. He was a quarterback coach. He was an offensive coordinator. And now he's your tight ends coach, not to even mention Coach Cap, who has been fantastic in helping offenses make massive gains in terms of their improvement. You got to love this. Earlier, Jake, I talked about what he did as a passer, but that's not all he brings to the table. He's got a live arm, he's got a big arm. There's some attributes he has that I love. One of the things I talk about all the time, something that I find myself really getting excited about when I watch some of these quarterback prospects, especially the ones with that dual threat ability. How do you utilize that gift? That gift of being able to make a defense pay with your legs? Well, in the case of Russell, he's one of those guys that will use his legs as the extension of a passing game. Whenever he breaks from the pocket, his eyes are downfield. He's still ready to let that thing rip. He is using his legs to manipulate a defense and make them choose. Are you going to come and stop me? Because if you do, I'm going to put it right over your head. Or are you going to stay on your assignment? All good. I'm going to take off running. And if we look at what he did as a ball carrier, he was just shy of 400 yards. But what's really impressive, once again, Texas 6A football at Duncanville, he averaged 5.82 yards per carry. He is an incredible athlete who, once again, uses his legs as an extension of the passing game, something I absolutely love, something that Kalen DeBoer will look to utilize. Remember, not too long ago, we talked about Kalen DeBoer talking to Jalen Milroe saying, hey, love that you're getting better every single day as a quarterback. Don't forget about what you have that also separates you from pretty much, well, every other quarterback in this league. You are one of the most dangerous athletes and runners there are. Use it. Make a defense pay. Kalen DeBoer is going to have these guys embrace their God given ability while also developing them. I love that. Absolutely love that about his game. Now, one of the things that you talked about earlier, there's a wide receiver that plays alongside Keelon Russell at Duncanville, Decorian Moore. If we look at the 24/7 Sports Composite, the number 3 player in the nation, the number 1 wide receiver, the number 1 player in the state of Texas. Now, will Alabama get in this battle? Tough to say, but what we do know from social media is that not long ago, Decorian Moore quote tweeted a video of Keelon Russell working out and stated, this is something we should continue in college, or something along that lines. I may be misremembering, but you get the point. It was something along
Yes.
those lines. If Alabama is able to get in this battle, and remember, one of the reasons why they wanted Russell to commit early as opposed to later, they want their quarterback to be an ace recruiter for them. Something, Jake, we talk about all the time, how players, as great of recruiters as you have on staff, players can be even better, right? Because that's your peers.
Yeah.
Ryan Williams apparently just did a phenomenal job. Jalen Mbakwe did a phenomenal job helping get Ryan Williams back on track. Richard Young, when he was a recruit, was always on Twitter, always with these guys talking about, hey, come and join us at Alabama. These players can be massive in terms of getting other guys on board. What's your thoughts, right? Like, this is going to be an uphill battle. We acknowledge that. DeCorian Moore, if I'm not mistaken, had a top 3 not too long ago of Oregon, Ohio State, and Texas. But do you think that this is a situation where Alabama could get back in this battle?
100%. I do. And the reason is it's especially when you see these kind of cryptic, fun tweets that the players put out there. It's fun. It makes the recruiting process fun for those who are watching, right, and involved in figuring out kind of the mindset and what guys are thinking about. It's a fun time, but it's something to actually consider seriously on his part, right? And for DeCorian Moore, what's key is you look at your success. it the ball has to get to you for you to be successful. Well, why not continue that success in college? Basically, that tweet that he puts out, right? Question mark. Why not? That's a great question. I think you answered it yourself. You probably should. Think about what the success you've already had at one level, a very high level, we should say, within Texas, high school football. But then we look at college, and you don't only get to compete with a guy you've been close with, a guy you have a relationship with, a guy who knows how to play your game and put the ball there in the spots for you specifically to be the athlete and the playmaker you are from DeCorian Moore standpoint, but also you get a coach in Jamarcus Shepard who has already proven to be an elite wide receiver developer. They call them the takers, or hashtag ice, everybody. I catch everything. Because in the end of the day, that's truly that mindset that he instills in these wide receivers. It's going to be fun to see how Alabama's wide receivers grow this next season, how they produce this next season, right? And that should probably get, DeCorian Moore really excited to learn from a coach who just put 3 wide receivers in the NFL in this last draft. All three, and potentially he's going to probably put a lot more. He's done so in the past, even at Purdue and the other schools he's been at, but he's known for his ability to get guys precisely into the realm of perfection that they need to be in to be elite. That's the type of guy you want to play for. Not to mention, now you got your quarterback, the guy you know personally, a close friend. Man, it's a connection worth paying attention to as we continue through this process. And I do think Alabama has some tricks up their sleeve to really get that notice and say, hey, man, why not come on down to the Tuscaloosa town, T-Town, baby? Let's go.
100%. And we know what Alabama has done with wide receivers. I've said this before, and this is what we will end it on. Alabama is the only school in the nation to go back to back drafts, sending 2 wide receivers in the first round of the NFL draft. And I have been on record. I know some people disagree. I have been on record saying, had John Mechie not gotten hurt, it would have been 3 drafts in a row, sending 2 wide receivers in the first round of the NFL draft. Tough legacy to say no to. Hop down to the comments. Let us know what you think about this win for Alabama. There is no question that this is one that will send ripples across college football. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what that looks like. Until next time, that's it. See ya.